All right, good afternoon. I'd like to call this meeting of Town Council Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024, meeting to order. Will you please join me in standing and saying the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you'll continue standing for the invocation, today we have Reverend Diane Knopf of First Presbyterian Church.
Thank you. Please join me in prayer. Oh, gracious God, gather us in as we have come together as your people to do your work and your will. I thank you for the gift of this island, for its rich history, for its beautiful ecosystem, for the diversity of people, many of whom are represented here today. And I ask your special blessing upon these council members and other staff, all those who lead us, who are servant leaders and whose job is certainly a difficult one. Strengthen them, give them courage of their convictions, and help each one of us to support and respect them for the work that they do. Oh God, remind each of us, no matter on which part of the island we make our homes, that we are all neighbors and that you have called us to care for each other, especially the least among us, for our children, for our elderly, for those without homes, for those who are seeking work, for everyone who is struggling. May we not forget them, but walk with them through their difficulties. Be with us now and guide us in what we say and what we think and what we do, for we ask it in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Mr. Orlando, do you have any changes to the agenda today?
No, sir.
Okay. Can I have a motion to accept, motion to approve the agenda?
Move to accept the agenda as submitted.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. So moved. Approval of minutes. Next, we have minutes from the meetings of June 17th, 18th, 20th, and 28th. Is there a motion to approve?
Yes, I move that we accept the minutes of June 17th, 18th, 20th, and 28th as submitted.
Second. If I may speak to the motion, for 3 of those sets of minutes, we had many hours of hearing and discussions. And in light of the length of time those meetings took, I think it's only appropriate that we take a little more time to look at those minutes, and I would like some more time to take a look at the videos and make sure that they have captured those sessions. So I would amend the motion to put off consideration of the minutes until our next meeting.
Is there a second on Mrs. Bryson's motion?
Second.
Okay, we've got a first and second on amending the agenda to, pushing out the approval of the minutes. All those, any discussion on that first? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. So moved. 7. Now back to, Mr. Ames.
I'll withdraw my motion.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next, let's see. Next up, report of the town manager.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Good afternoon, everybody. Special hello to all the lovely young students. It's always good to see you in the council chambers. A few things. One, a good job and a thank you to our Office of Cultural Affairs. They were recently awarded a festivals grant from the South Carolina Arts Commission, which received support from the National Endowment of Arts. These matching funds, which were $6,700 and change, help underwrite our Lantern Parade production expenses, including the artist fees. So I appreciate even though not the largest grant amount, I appreciate that we sought after that grant for our November 23rd event. The first event was held in 2019, has become a favorite in our community and a very favored tradition since then. And I'd say that having the support of the South Carolina Arts Commission is greatly appreciated, and it affirms that the town has a commitment to arts in our community. So, great job, Natalie. Great job to everything you're doing. Couple employee announcements. I saw Chris earlier. Where is Chris Lewis? There, I don't recognize him in a suit. Sir, hello. June 10th, Chris Lewis joined us in our planning department and in our organization as our building official. So Chris is our new chief building official. He brings a lot of experience to our team, more than 30 years of experience in architecture, building, construction industry experience, so private side, as well as 16 years specializing in local government building inspections and plan review, the public side. So I really appreciate Chris's blend of experience from both sides of the table, different lenses. Chris oversees a team within the Building Inspections Compliance Division and ensures that all our construction activities, as we know, are compliant and that our buildings are safe. And so just want to say a big thank you and a welcome to our town and welcome to our organization. We have a couple of summer interns that are with us today. Josh Cunningham. Hello, sir. How are you? Josh is an IT intern, and he's been working with us in the summer program since early June. And he is a technology student from Towson University, specializing in data analytics. A lot of skills in various programming and actively involved in community service, which we appreciate and support. Initiatives such as food and clothing drives and facilitating youth literacy workshops. So good job to you in your career and your life so far. Josh reports to our IT director and will be here as long as he's willing before he goes back to school. So thank you. Kendall Wagner. Hi, Kendall. Kendall joined us as a planning intern in the middle of May and is a student from the College of Charleston pursuing degrees in historic preservation, community planning, and anthropology. A lot of experience in community engagement leadership and served as the president of the Ballroom Dance Club and volunteering at various organizations, including Kaleidoscope Tutoring and Volunteers in Medicine. So welcome and thank you for being here this summer.
Town manager, how do we identify students who are interested in being interns at the town of Hilton Head?
We have now traditionally over the last few years, I think a lot of word of mouth, right? So that's a benefit. Our HR director posts the job, posts it in our typical channels, and we also talk to everybody we know to let them know we have an internship program. I know that Ms. Stauffer has also been in touch with USCB and various colleges, right? So if Clemson has a strong planning program and we are in search of a planning intern, we will contact the school and schools directly as well. So I would say the answer to that is E, all of the above, because we are always looking for summer interns, but also those young folks still in school that are going to get that start in their career. I've been there, and I'm proud of that. And it's a two-way street. They are a breath of fresh air. They come to us with new ideas and different solutions, and hopefully come back to work here when they graduate.
Thank you.
I'd like to follow up on something on that real quick. We were at a convention last week in Greenville and talking about employees coming to the towns, in municipalities and the cities. The internship has become a great avenue to do just that. And that's where when people say, where do you get your next employees from? It is from folks like y'all that come in. So thank you for being here.
That concludes my report, sir.
Thank you. Now we have Laura Besant and Michaela Mays from USCB here to accept the Sand Shark Week Welcome Week proclamation. If you'll come up and join me. So, Town of Hilton Head Island proclamation. Whereas the University of South Carolina Beaufort is fully accredited, comprehensive baccalaureate institution within the University of South Carolina system. And whereas USCB provides specialized instruction in 20 undergraduate degree and 2 graduate degree programs to fulfill its mission and respond to regional needs, draw upon regional strengths, and prepare graduates to contribute locally, nationally, and internationally. And whereas USCB is a primary resource for exceptionally skilled healthcare professionals, teachers, hospitality managers, science-based researchers, and computational specialists in the South Carolina Lowcountry. And whereas USCB has a reputation for its institutional prominence as a regional catalyst for progress and engine for cultural and economic growth. And whereas reports indicate that USCB's regional economic impact is in excess of 1,066 jobs, 50.5 million in additional wage and salary income, 122.4 million in output, and 1.6 million in net governmental revenue. And whereas USCB welcomes more than 2,100 students to their parents, other family members, and friends to campuses in Bluffton, Beaufort, and Hilton Head Island, and to athletic fields in Hardeeville for the start of the 2024-25 academic year. Now, therefore, I, Alan R. Perry, the mayor of the town of Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, hereby proclaim the week of August 19th to 24th, 2024 as USCB Sand Shark Welcome Week, and testimony whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause this seal of the town of Hilton Head Island be affixed this 23rd day of July 2024. Congratulations. Stand right here and take a picture. Great, thank you. Next, we have Parks and Recreation proclamation. And today we have Kristen Keller, who is the incoming president of the Island Recreation Association. Leah Arnold and a bunch of kids. Come on up. Don't stand behind me, stand to the side so you can see me. Got to be seen out there. You're looking at our future right here. Looks pretty good. The Town of Hilton Head Island proclamation. Whereas parks and recreation are an integral part of the communities throughout this country, including Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. And whereas parks and recreation promote health and wellness and time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being. And whereas parks and recreation encourage physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas parks and recreation services are a leading provider of healthy meals, nutritional services, and education. And whereas parks and recreation program and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas parks and recreation increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas parks and recreation ensure the ecology, beauty of communities, and are essential and adaptable infrastructure that make communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And now, therefore, I, Alan R. Perry, the mayor of the town of Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, do hereby proclaim July 24th as Parks and Recreation Month in the town of Hilton Head Island. In testimony whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause this seal of the town of Hilton Head Island to be affixed this 23rd day of July in the year of our Lord, 2024. Kristen? Let's walk out here and get a better picture. Okay.
On the front. Or Britton, come up front.
Y'all sure you don't want to stay? We have fun.
Snack time, sorry.
All right, next, we will move on to the Office of Cultural Affairs update. Natalie.
Love to see people leaving just as I'm getting ready to present. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share an update. Mr. Orlando has already shared part of my news, so it is really exciting to have the endorsement of the South Carolina Arts Commission for this festival's grant, which I'm hoping will allow us to invite an additional band to participate in the parade this year. So we're looking. That's okay. It was there. Okay. Oops. Next. So this will be a very brief presentation. It's been great to see many of you at our cultural events and different activities over the past year. I think I was originally planning to do these events quarterly for you, and I think it's been 6 months since I've seen you. So there are a few extra things on this slide. The Office of Cultural Affairs promotes history, art, and culture for Hilton Head Island. Pleased to remind you that we have a coordinator now, Robin Swift, who's here today. Adding a part-time person to this department has multiplied the work and the reach that we have in this organization. So I'm very grateful for that. We have some sponsored content. You may hear ads for Hilton Head Island's arts, culture, and history on Georgia Public Radio to help bring people here for our events. We distribute our map. Social media followers are up slightly this year, 9,800 on Facebook. And we have actually closer to 5,400 subscribing to our newsletter with a 50% open rate, which is really great. We also try to increase the community's access to cultural, historical, and artistic experiences. Pleased to have a partnership with the Island Rec Center where there are 2 separate art exhibits per month. They are sort of introducing people to art in unexpected places. If you visit now, you'll see a few lanterns from last year's Lantern Parade. We also assisted the Arts Center of Coastal Carolina with a mural commission for the middle school. The great story about that is that the artist actually attended Hilton Head Middle School when she was growing up here, so it's a great connection. The South Carolina Festival grant we received, we also implement community-oriented programming. You might see us out at the Party in the Park, again with our partners at the Rec Center, painting rocks for the Breeze Rocks and Ride event that they host in August. We will be hosting lantern workshops this fall. We've already booked with Pockets Full of Sunshine and the homeschoolers with the library, and expect to do so with other schools and different organizations. We are looking into ways that we can pursue a cultural district for Hilton Head Island in the future. That's been something on the list that we've wanted to do for several years, and look forward to seeing how that comes out next year. Okay. Public art projects. Many of you were at the unveiling at the Rowing and Sailing Center, which was a great event. So pleased to have that mural and other interpretive panels there at the site. And it was great to connect with many of the families. Those who could not be there, we've had a couple of others make appointments with me to go visit the site with Mr. Barnwell so that we can introduce them to it on our own. The temporary exhibition at Shelter Cove Sculpture Trail that is in place now, the 3 faces, will be coming out in August, and a replacement will be going in September. So look for that information soon. And we also did assist Beautiful Island Square with acquiring a piece of bottle cap recycled art that is there for all to enjoy. So that's been a great fun thing this summer. The kickoff for the Lantern Parade, we assisted with Juneteenth. We also have tents at community events, again, thanks to a lot of our volunteers here on the town staff, as well as Robin and me going to these events. And each week, we have a presentation at 9 different resort properties, and since November, that's reached 9,000 of our visitors, introducing them to arts, culture, and historical events, activities, and just general welcoming to Hilton Head, getting people to understand our way of life here and what some of our environmental challenges are. I think Robin gets a lot of alligator and crab questions, and jellyfish questions somehow become cultural. So she's very good at connecting people with the right resources to find the answers. I attended the South Carolina Arts Advocacy Day. I hope to see a lot more of our Hilton Head Island and Beaufort County organizations there next year. I've already started working with some of my friends here in the back of the room to recruit them to attend. Crescendo and Lantern Parade are coming. Our kickoff is the 15th of October. Grammy Award-winning artist Charlton Singleton is bringing his band's Contemporary Flow and the Lantern Parade on the 23rd. And the last slide, just a few save-the-date moments. Of course, you all are aware about the Hilton Head Island Jam coming in September. At last count, there were 35 artists already booked, and the schedule should be posted very soon about which venues and which days. The Lantern Parade, as I mentioned, we're hoping to have 4 bands. The tree lighting is set for December 7th. These guys will be performing again this year, and yes, there will be lasers. Crescendo is the 15th of October through November 23rd. Look for more information about that in the newsletter. And then one thing that I wanted to add to this is that the 250th anniversary of the Revolutionary War is approaching us next year and for several years beyond. So I'm representing a lot of our historical organizations on a committee in Beaufort County to celebrate that. So I'd be happy to answer any questions or look forward to seeing you at our next events.
Any questions? Mr. Reyes.
Natalie, congratulations. You do a tremendous job creating programs and supporting programs in the community.
Thank you.
And I think that is of tremendous value to our community. But when we were listening to the recreation commendation, it dawned on me that we have facilities, parks, and the rec center and so on and so forth that we dedicate and commit to for recreation. It seems to me that we have to enhance the experiences on Hilton Head by advocating for that cultural district. But I would say that really, in my opinion, there are probably 2 cultural districts. They're very different. One in the Palmetto Bay corridor, and that is more eclectic, informal, energetic, things that will bring younger people into the culture and art that this community does a great job. And then secondly, the Shelter Cove area, which has the more traditional kinds of art and cultural experiences. So I think that we should be advocating for our district plans to include those cultural facilities in those places. Thank you.
Yep, great, thank you very much.
Alan, I have a comment, if I might. Thank you. Thank you for doing such a terrific job. It's always so much fun to attend these events, and we gain so much from it. I do have a question for you. Where is the mural now?
The mural is at the Rowing and Sailing Center. It is installed as you go into the parking area, just before you get to the dock entrance. You can see it from the pavilion.
So it's sitting outside?
It's printed on vinyl, so it's protected from the weather.
Okay.
And
I
it
assumed
is-
it was going to go someplace. Thank you.
Yes.
And I just wanted to also extend my congratulations. Great report, great
you.
year of fabulous events and culture and arts throughout the community. A lot of hard work. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Harvey, congratulations on a very extensive, all-encompassing program, and also for putting the picture of 3 councilmen in the upper left-hand corner here. A question about seeking state designation as a cultural district. What are the advantages and disadvantages of that, and is it a relatively common thing in this state?
Sure. The way that the South Carolina Arts Commission Cultural District plan works is that you need to have a lot of your amenities and assets already operating and in place and be walkable. That is one of the keys that they have. And so there has been some preliminary investigation of some activities. Festivals count, outdoor art, live music, free concerts. So there has been some investigating about the Shelter Cove area and the natural connection with the Arts Center and gallery there. Anything that would happen in another area, we are not precluded from having 2 districts or 3 or 4. We could do this for years. The value of doing that is certainly attracting that representing that Hilton Head Island values its arts and culture, and that it's an important part of our community value system. And it does provide a very small amount of marketing dollars that can be used for marketing the cultural district, as well as printing a map that would indicate where those sites are.
And is it relatively common in this state for municipalities to have that designation?
There are, I believe, 12 in the entire state, 12 districts. So it would be a big feather in the cap to have one here. And there are several other ideas that have come up besides the Palmetto Bay or Arrow Road as well. So I think there's great enthusiasm for doing this among the arts and cultural organizations. It's just going to take several steps and of course, working through with district plans and how that works.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Bryson?
First of all, thank you for your report and your work. I do enjoy coming to the festivals, whatever kind they are. So thank you for that. And following up on the questions about Cultural Art District, this council last year promoted that the chamber should market arts and culture. So they have adopted that. And I'm hoping that maybe there's going to be some sort of partnership in working on that together to deliver to us one or more cultural art districts. And I know of some in North Carolina. There's one in Asheville called the River Arts District. And you might want to take a look at that one if you haven't already. But then lastly, Mayor, I have a confession to make. I'm glad it's Parks and Recreation Month, because in the summer of one year, I worked for the City of Asheville Parks and Recreation Department as their arts and culture consultant at summer playgrounds. I'm not volunteering, but if you ever need any advice, give me a call.
Thank you.
Ms. Brown?
Thank you. Ms. Harvey, I'm going to ask a question.
Okay.
Put you on the spot.
Okay.
Maybe you'll have the answer. If not, maybe someone in the room can help with this. How long has the Affairs Office been in existence?
I believe it was founded in 2017.
2017. And I join all of my colleagues in the positive remarks. But I wanted to sort of make a point here. This came out of a grassroots effort of the arts community saying, hey, we need to do something. And it was really a challenge to the status quo of Hilton Head being a limited service government. So I commend the folks at the time for having a vision. We are doing nothing but enhancing our community through this effort. So I congratulate you as well, and continue to support this office.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I agree with everything that everybody said. I appreciate your working relationships with other groups, and I appreciate you keeping us entertained.
Thank you.
Thank you. So next, we'll move on to general reports, and I do want to take a moment to recognize a family member of the town who had a tragic accident. We lost Steve Riley's son, Nate, was tragically killed in a motorcycle accident a couple weeks ago. And a very vibrant, young gentleman who was loved by many, gone way too soon. Keep Steve and Mary Jo in your thoughts and prayers. It's a terrible time for them, and there's more than one victim. Keep the driver in your thoughts and prayers as well. Accidents happen. Why, we don't know. But we've got to be there to support those that are affected. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Other general reports? Mr. Sanford, Low Country Area Transportation Study.
No report, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Becker, Low Country Council of Governments.
No, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Ames, airports.
Brief report. The steel for the new terminal is going to be arriving in the next couple of weeks. So we'll be seeing the terminal going three dimensions. Also, the passenger counts for this year are only slightly above last year. And yes, there were delays due to the CrowdStrike computer glitch, but they're improving at this point. That is my report.
All right, thank you. Southern Loco Regional Board, Mr. Sanford?
I'll defer to you, Mr.
Thank you.
Mayor.
So we actually had a meeting this morning for Soloco, and the two topics of discussion were plastic bag ordinance update from the Coastal Conversation League and the regional projects update from Joe Passmont, Chairman of Beaufort County Council. There's a push by the Conservation League to bring back the plastic ban ordinance in a different form to address the thick bags. They're causing more issues than the thin bags that have been placed out there. They also want to increase those items which are banned, including the thick bag, styrofoam boxes, and other things, plastic utensils, straws. We're actually behind other municipalities that have gone a little bit further than we have. So this is something that they're going to start pushing forward. And the conversation went way above and beyond. Started talking about regional recycling in an effort to make it more accessible and easier to do. And also trash on the roads, trash on the bridges, who's responsible, what needs to take place to make certain that it's all cleaned up and make certain that the trash trucks are properly maintained in a way that they don't cause to the issue. I'd also like to introduce a motion to the county that there is a requirement for all cement trucks to have a cement block on their transfer systems, because that's what's all over the road now is cement that falls out of the cement trucks. But that's something I'll take up with them later. On the regional projects, there's several things that they're working on with the state, and they're going to get state and federal funding for workforce training. They're looking at a solar project at the Savannah River site, addressing water and sewer for underserved areas in Bluffton, Port Royal, and a couple towns in Jasper County. There's the improvement at the Pinckney Island boat landing. They're looking to do an interactive center there on Pinckney. They're working with the feds on that. And then they talked about the referendum of the quarter or the sales tax to generate $950 million over 10 years. They're going to do an educational campaign as to where those funds that they were collected in 2018, where they have been utilized, what's on the books to be utilized, what's incomplete, underfunded. And then Jasper County talked about their referendum, which they've had 2 readings of. They'll have a third end of the month to raise $470 million over a 15-year period. And that is to reconfigure Exit 8, widen 278 to 95, the rehab of Exit 5, and the addition of Exit 3. So a lot of things are going on there, which we'll continue to keep you up to date on. Mr. Brown, Island Recreation Association.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Summer camps and programs have been going well. Fall program registration has begun. The last party in the park at Celebration Park will be this Thursday. Also, you have summer jams at Shelter Cove Community Park on Tuesdays with a finale of fireworks. There was a new slate of officers elected to the Executive Committee of the Island Rec Center. Mr. Reed Perry has been elected as Secretary, Kate Boardman as Treasurer, Marty Pauls as Vice President, and Ms. Kristen Keller, who was here earlier, is the new President. That's my report, sir.
Thank you very much. Ms. Becker, Community Services and Public Safety.
No report. We did not meet this month.
Okay. Mr. Ames, Public Planning Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. The Public Planning Committee met July 11th to hear a report by Palmetto Breeze and its annual service plan. There was a discussion followed on the trolley service and beach shuttle services, and the recognition that we need to enhance our regional and island services for residents, workers, and visitors. This goal would be to reduce the reliance on automobiles. And that is my report.
Thank you. And Mr. Brown, Finance Administrative Committee.
Yes, sir. At our last meeting, we had an update from Ms. Adriana Burnett to talk about what she expects from the finance department and what we should expect as far as reporting is concerned. The next FNA meeting will have a report from Ms. Burnett. Please be aware that we will be changing the date that the FNA committee is meeting. And the reason for that is to give the finance department more time to give us more up-to-date financials, okay? So there will be well enough time and notice from our town clerk as far as when those are gonna happen. So just be aware that it will not be the normal times that we meet for FNA.
All right, thank you. Now we'll move on to unfinished business. We will move to the second and final reading of ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a quitclaim deed for a portion of property identified as 54 Muddy Creek Road and the purchase of a stormwater easement. The ordinance was approved at first reading on June 18th. Mr. Gruber.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. As this item is pending before you on second and final reading, I can tell you nothing has changed since this last time it was before you. Happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to adopt an ordinance of the town of Hilton Head Island authorizing the execution and delivery of the quitclaim deeds for a portion of property owned by the town of Hilton Head Island, Beaufort County, identified as 54 Muddy Creek Road, and the purchase of a stormwater easement for the same.
Second by Ms. Bryson.
This is a second and final reading.
Any comments from the public? All right, seeing none, any discussion from council?
Just one. I think at the last reading and at other points in time, I've asked what would be the process for us to be able to look at situations that seem to arise periodically where the deeds and the recording isn't quite as clean as we would have expected it to be.
So while we've had several of those, this actually arises from one where we acquired property, but the property was purchased out of a tax sale, and therefore the title to that property is not necessarily as great as it could be. And so in working with the adjoining property owners who had previously possessed the property, that's where we developed this kind of, we'll exchange quitclaim deeds for you in exchange for you giving one to us, which will then give us a better quality title for the property that we're going to retain. So this one isn't necessarily a surveying issue, but to the extent that we become aware of those issues, we'll bring those forward to town council, primarily first in executive session to make council aware of those issues, and then discuss which ways to move forward with them.
Right, and so in all those cases, it's really a matter of when something's coming up, has bubbled up that we're addressing, that we discover these other issues.
Yes, ma'am.
And there's nothing preemptively that we could do to kind of have a head, no, okay. I just wanted to once again say that, you know, it's unfortunate that these situations are in the records there and not that we have to deal with them later.
It feels like they've happened with some frequency just because of the last couple that we've had come forward, but typically these are supposed to be rare instances that we're having these kind of issues.
Yeah, no, I agree. They should be rare, if not at all. Yeah. Okay.
All right, we've got a motion by Mr. Ames. Any other comments? Anybody? Make sure, okay. Motion by Mr. Ames, second by Ms. Bryson. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. So moved, 7-0. On to new business, we have Mr. Gruber presenting the consideration of a resolution authorizing the acceptance of a donated right-of-way and corresponding pathway easement of property located at 272 Mitchellville Road.
Yes, sir. I am particularly excited to be able to bring this matter before council. I think some of you are familiar with this, particularly those of you that have been calling council for a while, because this item has been pending before town council for quite some time now. When the town first prepared a dirt road paving program, this is one of the top targets that was identified at the outset of that program. And we've been working for several years now to get to the point of where we are today, which is the landowner that is the kind of the missing link, the fill in the last spot that's necessary before we can move forward with paving this dirt road program, has voluntarily donated the right of way that's necessary to allow us to move forward. I know there's some materials in your packet, but I wanted to pull up just for the public's sake, be able to show kind of what we're talking about. So on the plans in your materials, this is what it shows in terms of the area that's being donated by the property owner. But I wanted to show you kind of what this looks like visually so you can understand where it's taking place within the community. So this road running along the bottom here, this is Fish Hall Road. This is where it intersects with Mitchellville Road to the right, and then Mitchellville to the left. And it is this particular property right here that's owned by Dr. Deckel. And right where my mouse is going over, this is the area that's being donated in order to facilitate the road paving project. So with that information, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have about this matter.
Yeah, do we have a motion?
Yes. I move to approve a resolution authorizing the acceptance of a donated right-of-way and corresponding pathway easement of property located at 272 Mitchellville Road.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion from the public? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm Chester Williams. I've always thought that this was an excellent program that the town instituted. I don't recall there ever being a donation of land in order to complete the paving before. I think this might be the first one, and I'm just proud to say that I'm glad I had the opportunity to participate in it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, comments by council. Mr. Brown.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Gruber, for bringing up this aerial. If you could just take a moment for the public's knowledge to sort of explain the donation process, and obviously all of the property owners that have donated in this case have given up a certain percentage footage of their property and how that affects them as far as future land uses and development.
Yes, sir. So it's somewhat of a mixed bag through this area. There's an existing roadway that's been in place for some time now. And so on a number of the plats for some of these parcels, and I'm going to particularly reference these here on the southern end, the roadway was already laid out with a dimension being wide enough that it would facilitate the width that we need to move forward with paving the dirt road. The one area of conflict that we ran into was this property right here, because the roadway was shifted so far to the south, but with the distance that we needed to obtain this portion of the property. So I'm not sure about the history of the donations of any of the other parcels. I know that there's a jointly owned town and county property that's within the Rural and Critical Lands program that's at the end of this roadway. But ultimately, Dr. Deckel's property was the last piece that was needed before we'll be able to move forward and actually implement the paving. So the process has been staff working with the landowner. That took several months. There was back and forth in terms of not only surveying the property, but understanding the ability to preserve development rights that would be associated with the land donation. So all of that's been put in place to the satisfaction of the landowner's attorney, and the town attorney.
The property owner does not lose any property rights with the donation.
Correct. With a donation, the property owner does not lose any development rights. And that was pursuant to action taken by town council to incorporate that language in the code to allow that to happen.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions? Seeing none. Mr. Gruber, how long has this been going on?
It at least 7, if not 8 years.
Mr. Orlando, how long has it been going on?
Times 2. I've seen memos on this. I have seen memos on this dating back maybe 15 years, Josh.
Yeah.
So I know Sean Colin has worked on this. You've worked on this. Appreciate Chet. Appreciate all the community members along the way. But this has been someone's career in the making along the way. So I just appreciate the hard work that staff has and Chet helping us bring this over the finish line.
And I make that point because it's been 15 years to provide better safety and EMS and rescue to an area that currently is not accessible. So we've got a first by Mr. Ames, second by Mr. Alfred. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. So moved 7-0. Lastly, we have the consideration of a resolution relating to the declaration of intent to reimburse certain expenditures for purchases of fire rescue vehicles. Mr. McGowan.
Thank you, Mayor Perry and members of Town Council. My name is John McGowan. I'm Assistant Finance Director. I began here in early April, actually the same date that Adriana Burnett, my manager, started. I'm here today to request the Town Council review and approve a reimbursement resolution which would give the town the ability to replenish hospitality tax balances of up to $12 million that have or will be expended for the initial purchase of fire trucks. This reimbursement would be accomplished via the execution of a tax-exempt lease in 2025 with a third-party financial institution. I'll give a little background, at least my understanding of the background and history here, to help explain why I'm in front of you today. And special thanks to Josh Gruber for getting Adriana and I up to speed on that history. And certainly many of you have been involved in past actions related to this, this venture. So feel free to interject if you feel appropriate. Our understanding is in fiscal year 21, there was a budget presentation that referenced the need to delay expenditures due to COVID-related revenue uncertainties. This presentation included a delay on truck replacements. And to me, this implies that these purchases were being discussed prior to 2021. Replacements, as I mentioned, were needed as multiple vehicles were approaching the end of their useful lives. In fiscal year 22, we upped the purchase to a total of 10 vehicles. That's 8 pumpers and 2 quints. And certainly Chief Blankenship is available if you have any questions about any of the technical aspects of the trucks. We entered into a purchase agreement in December of 21 with Safe Industries for a total cost of $7.45 million. There was an amendment to that in 2024, but ultimately it's $7.45 million. Lease financing of the vehicles was referenced in the 2022 presentation. These planned expenditures were carried forward, obviously, for multiple years due to multiple delays over the last 3 or 4 years. Delivery began in late June. We received 1 truck. We expect to receive, I think, 2 or 3 others within a week. And we expect the 10th and final vehicle to be delivered certainly sometime in the 4th quarter of this calendar year. Also, in the 2025 budget, there was a provision to purchase 2 additional ladder trucks, obviously to replace existing aging equipment. Total cost of that we expect to be $4.5 million. This proposed council action would provide the town with the ability to reimburse dollars expended from the hospitality tax fund via proceeds from a tax-exempt lease. The lease would be paid back over an approximately 10-year period, which aligns with the expected useful life of the vehicles. And the benefits to the town are the replenished hospitality tax funds that we've already expended or will be expending will allow the town to use these replenished funds to pay for other already approved capital projects. Any questions?
Have a motion?
Yes. I move council approve a resolution relating to the declaration of intent by the town of Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, to reimburse certain expenditures prior to the execution and delivery of a tax-exempt equipment lease for the purchase of fire rescue vehicles in an amount not to exceed $12 million.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments from the public? Seeing none, questions, comments from council. Ms. Bryson.
Mayor, I'm familiar with this program, having worked with the jurisdiction that used it before, that is the lease purchase of vehicles. It's a great program. Are there any financial savings, or at least, other than reimbursement of hospitality taxes, which is great, any financial savings in doing it through lease purchase as opposed to outright purchase?
Lease purchase versus what, I'm sorry?
Outright purchase.
Basically, if we were to pay for all of this purchase with hospitality tax funds on hand, that'd be $12 million that we couldn't use for other capital projects.
And so by doing a lease purchase, in effect, you're amortizing over a certain time period, the time period of the lease.
And one other thing in terms of pros and cons of looking at it, the current rate of return that we're receiving on our invested funds is actually greater than the interest rate that we're likely to receive with a tax-exempt lease. And so right now, it's more beneficial to us to keep greater positive cash balances on hand.
Great. That's what I was looking for.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, I didn't hear everything you said there.
Good financial benefit in doing it this way. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, questions?
I'd like to follow up on that, since this is a different form of financing than we generally use as a town. Your reference here suggests that hospitality tax fund would be used for the initial cash purchase, but that there would also be a financial institution. Do I understand that the town would pay cash from the hospitality fund, then borrow money from the financial institution?
I mean, it's not really a borrowing.
Well, I understand, but
Yeah.
this is an accounting tax issue
Yes.
primarily, I understand that.
For example,
But I want to trace the flow of funds.
Yes, so for example, the fire truck that we received a few weeks ago, we've written a check for $630,000 roughly. This action would allow us to reimburse ourselves for that expenditure, and we do that via the proceeds from the lease. Essentially, it's a lease purchase agreement. That third party would essentially own the trucks. We'd pay them back over a 10-year period.
Is there a financial institution and funds involved with this?
There would be a financial institution involved. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure that you've answered the question.
So there will be. We've not gone out to the market yet because of the size of this. We will need to publicly advertise for this lease arrangement, and there's many different banks that are likely to bid on it. But there's part of a timing kind of at play here. So we're looking to make payment on the trucks as they're delivered within 30 days of delivery. But we want to go ahead and take delivery of most of the fleet. Within the IRS regulations, we've got a window so that if by passing this resolution, any of the equipment that's been purchased, and right now we only have the one that's been delivered, starts the clock running. We then have 18 months to take full delivery, and within that time, we can go out to the markets to obtain the financing from a financial institution.
I'm primarily interested in the flow of funds, and I posited that a scenario in which the town uses the hospitality fund initially, and then
Yes, sir.
there's a loan from a financial institution, or
That
however you
is
want to
correct.
characterize that, back to the town.
In the adopted FY25 budget, the source of funds that were identified for this particular lease purchase is hospitality tax funds.
Okay, thank you.
Other comments, questions? All right, seeing none, we've got a first from Mr. Ames, second, Mr. Alfred. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. So moved, 7-0. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Next, we'll go to public comment. Moving to the public comment section, 2-5-70 of the town's code limits each person to 3 minutes when addressing town council. At the end of the 3 minutes, you are asked to conclude your comments. Please maintain a decorum suitable for the meeting and refrain from using any profane, abusive, or obscene language. If you have any materials you'd like to give to town council, please give the town clerk after you are finished speaking. Kimberly, do we have anybody signed up today?
I had one register.
Okay.
Krista Wiedmeyer.
No? Anybody else sign up?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Executive session. Mr. Orlando, do we have a need to go into executive session?
Yes, sir. As it is outlined on the town council agenda, item 11A. Excuse me, I grabbed the wrong agenda. 11A, 11B, and 11C.
Do you have a motion?
Yeah, I move that council go into executive session for the reasons cited by the town manager.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Mr. Alfred, I have a first and second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. We're in executive session. I would like to take a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second, we got a first and a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Mr. Ames, do we have any action to take out of
Yes, sir.
executive session?
I move that town council authorize the mayor and the town manager to be authorized to execute and deliver easements in favor of Hilton Head Number 1 Public Service District, allowing for the installation, maintenance, and operation of wells associated electrical and mechanical equipment, and for the installation, maintenance, and operation of underground water lines.
Do we have a second? Second. Mr. Alfred? Any discussion from the public? Seeing none, any discussion from council? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. So moved, 7-0. Mr. Ames, are there any other actions?
No other action was taken during, or proposed to be taken by council.
Have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor? Adjourned.